indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And we need a motion to approve last week's minutes, please.
Moved.
Second. Motion Bunsen, a second by Olson. If there are no changes or corrections, all in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Casey, you're up. Open forum. I don't know how our three council members managed to not show up for this event tonight, but somehow you're going to have to talk to 2/3 of us. So.
Well, thank you for allowing us to come and present. Again, the staff here with us, myself, Laura Potasic, Rita Moe, Lynn Kerrigan in the back, are here to give you all our first quarter recap of 2019. Leighton couldn't be here tonight. He's celebrating his 30th wedding anniversary, so he was not off the hook. So, but he did send his info. So, we are here to give you again the first quarter recap for 2019. It's been a busy first 3 months for us as well. Weather related, obviously keep that as a side note on everything we talk about. Weather, unfortunately. But to dive right into some of our numbers, I don't get to report on the fun stuff. I'll leave that for the ladies here. But our website traffic for 2019 first quarter is surpassing our traffic for 2018. Our visits for the first 3 months totaling 19,000 page views, almost 28,000 downloads, 23,000 searches and return visits, 2,400. So people are finding some information out there. They're engaging with our website, and they're making that return visit. And we're seeing that with the average time that they're spending on the website, anywhere from 2 minutes to just over 3 minutes on return visits. So we're happy to see that. How does that translate versus 2018? 2018 visits were 13,000 page views, 22,000 downloads, 23,000. Downloads were pretty even throughout the both 2 years. And then return visits just over 2,000. So as that translates, the first quarter we saw a 33% increase in our website traffic and also a 20% increase in our page views. So we're trying to put out that quality information to capture that interest. With travel show season and what we're putting forth, the information we're putting out, we want to make sure that information is accurate so people can plan those trips to Aberdeen. Looking forward to the travel show schedule that we participated in this year. We participated in the St. Paul Sports Show, the St. Cloud Sports Show, the Bismarck Tribune Sports Show. The Pheasant Fest was held in Schaumburg, Illinois. The Red River Valley Sports Show in Fargo, and the Minneapolis Sports Show. With the estimated sports show attendance for Game Fair, which is held in August, we will participate in all those travel show schedule, getting in front of almost 124,000 people. So those are people that get to stand on the other side of the table that we get to sell Aberdeen to. And as Laura knows firsthand, those people are very passionate about making the reservations and what can they do to bring those little kiddos and grandkiddos to Aberdeen and spend the weekend at Wiley Park. So we're excited to promote that. We had some new things that we tried this year. We had Envision the Burger King crown. We had Jen laughs. We had crowns that we implemented to show Wiley Park and Strobeck the castle. We had to play on the castle theme. So it was just this gold crown that said visit AberdeenSD.com, and the kids went crazy for them. They flew off the table. We saw that at all the sports shows that we couldn't make the crowns fast enough. So that was a good thing to see on our end. Just always trying to do something new, always trying to push the envelope a little bit better. Other things that we looked at for the first quarter, occupancy tax wasn't quite there. Be the first one to admit that, and I think that had a lot to do with the weather. People getting here had trouble getting here. Once they were here, they were trapped. They had to spend money, so that was the plus side. So January, the difference there, almost 21,000 in 2019 versus 22,000 in 2018. February was 23,000 versus 20,000 last year. Same month. And then December, we actually start the year December and go forward. So 19,000, almost 20,000 in December versus 22,000 the year prior. So that showed a difference of starting out 12% behind last year the same time. And then we gradually started to whittle away at that number January number was 9%, or sorry, almost 1% behind, and then February was just under 0.2% behind. So we're catching up as we're moving along. How does that translate? Like I said, people had a tough time getting here, but once they were here, they spent money. We capture that by tracking the SIC codes. Lodging, eating, and drinking, January, February, and March. Lodging for January was a 263,000 increase. February was almost 6,000 increase, and March was 95,000 increase. That's just lodging. Eating, January was 147,000 increase. February was 221,000 increase, and March was 450,000 increase in eating. Drinking, they like to have fun. January was a 487,000 increase. February was almost a 43,000 increase, and March was 11,000 increase. So how does that translate? The total numbers. In January, we saw almost a 14% increase, 2019 versus 2018. February, we saw a 4.18% increase, in March, an 8.8% increase. So like I said, people that are here, once they're here, they're spending money. And we know some of this is not only visitors and locals are mixed into this as well, but those two figures, the occupancy tax and the SIC codes, are our best gauge on overnight stays and the money being spent, taxable money being spent in Aberdeen. So that's something that we really strive and hang our hat on. How does that translate for year to date so far? Year to date, lodging is up almost 9.5% in SIC codes again. Eating is up almost 6%, and drinking is up is over 17%. So again, I hope Carl can vouch for those numbers. Again, the taxable, Carl, shake your head, yes, thank you. So those taxable numbers, when those numbers are brought into the Aberdeen, they could multiply anywhere from 3 to 7 times in the community. So a visitor comes in, they're spending money, that money is going to translate or multiply anywhere from 3 to 7 times. So hosting events, now lead on to my next topic, events that are held. Things looking at 2019, just this first quarter here, and looking throughout the rest of the year. Some bigger events, obviously State B basketball. Rita's going to touch on that a little bit. There's the Exchange Club Conference. There's the Student Advisory Conference. There's the Midco Cup Soccer. There's girls golf. There's high school clay target trap shooting championship in Aberdeen. Midwest Shrine. There's going to be 2,500 Shriners coming the end of July, first part of August. There's Sertoma Convention. The nice thing about the Shriners and the Sertoma Convention are those are regional conferences. So those are going to come in from North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota. But the Shriners, they bring them in from all over the place. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Iowa. So that's good. That's great for the community. The Municipal League in 2019, late 2019, the airport conference. I was kind of hoping Rich was going to be here because I wanted to find out how our bid was. But all of these have an interaction in some way with the CVB, whether it is something that we're bidding, or whether it's something that we're hosting, or whether it's something that we're promoting. All of these have some sort of fingertip or thumbprint from the CVB and the community. So the whole community is involved in this. One thing that Jen got to get privy on, we had a meeting the other day, we are bidding the 2020 National BMX Conference. And that's going to be sometime in September, mid to late September of 2020. You're talking 750 athletes, riders, plus families that'll be here anywhere from 3 to 4 nights. That will be bigger than the Bees. Hopefully there'll be no snow. Robin, thank you. But it's going to be a great event. So there's a lot of these great events that happen throughout the year, whether it's swim meets, hockey tournaments, state Bees, BMX, municipal leagues, whatever it might be. These are all events that the community is tied to, and these are all events that bring in those overnight stays. And that is our mission, to bring in those visitors, to concentrate on those overnight stays. What can we do to put those heads in beds? That's what we're all about. This is a copy of our proposal that we put together for the BMX BMX Gold Cup event that, like I said, will be happening sometime in September of 2020. We try to play on the Oz characters a little bit, obviously with our billboard and having Wiley Park and Storwick Land in our backyard. We play on that as well. We had to give demographics of the city of Aberdeen. We had to give the number of parking spaces. We had to give the proximity of the hotels from the airport to the track, and from the track to, from the airport to the track, and from the hotel to the track. The number of camping spots. We had to put together a map of the community where everything's listed. Again, like I said, demographics, and then thank you letters. Please consider Aberdeen. So these are all these bigger events. We try to go above and beyond, but that's what Aberdeen's famous for, is what can we do to push that envelope to make those marketing dollars track a little further. Yeah,
Casey, just so the council knows, that they asked, and I sent a letter.
Did you?
Requesting also, and pointing out that the city council thought enough of BMX that we've invested $100,000 there over time.
Thank you for doing that.
Well, it's
and part of that is, and I'm glad you brought that up, part of that investment into the track facility allowed us to bid for this. So without the support of this facility, this would have never been put on our radar. This doesn't always happen. These bigger events are where really those key components come into play. So yes, you guys are a part of that. So how does that affect the community? It trickles down. Everybody has a hand in this. So thank you for sending that. That's really all I have as far as the numbers. I do have more to talk about. I know I just wanted to get through the hard numbers and the tracking. Does anybody have any questions there before I turn it over to Laura on the marketing side of things?
Yeah,
Yes,
how did the banner along the floor at State B?
I'll let her address it, but it went really well. We were able to reach out to high school activities. In all honesty, it was an idea that we kicked around the office, and we were scared to ask. I mean, that's a big thing, so I sent a letter to the executive director of the high school activities, and I said, hey, State Bees are everybody's very passionate about the bees in Aberdeen. This is something we take pride in, we hang our hat on. We have an idea we want to step up our game of Aberdeen being the place to be, the letter B. This is what we have an idea of. We want to do this, that. We had to kind of put together this mock-up, and we sent it off to him, and he's like, absolutely, that's a great idea. And we're like, oh my God, it worked. So we jumped on it immediately before they could change their mind. But yeah, I'll let Rita kind of give you the heads up on that. So it was a great promotional piece. It was great exposure. I mean, to have that many sets of eyes that walked into the building and see that, plus being televised through public broadcasting, it was a perfect opportunity for us. So we hope to do more of that. We just have to make sure we have permission to do a lot of things. So we'd love to do things on the floor. We'd love to, put vinyl on the floor and do whatever, but we also want to be respectful of the venue and the High School Activities Association. So any other questions at all? No? Okay, I'll let Rita have the marketing. Or sorry, Laura have the marketing.
Rita State Bees.
Rita State Bees.
I'll do State Bees quick. So remember the snowstorm, not the April one, but the one before that in March? That was when State Bees were. So first of all, to the city staff and the plows and oh my goodness, thank you so much to everyone out there clearing snow. NSU did an amazing job. Brown County did an amazing job. Just to clear the roads so the media, the teams, the fans, everyone could get to Aberdeen, could get around Aberdeen, to the hotels, the restaurants, and of course to the games. So a few new ideas that we had this year. We designed the t-shirts. Lynn's going to hold it up. So we designed the t-shirts and made them available to hotels, restaurants, and businesses around town. And a number of those groups took advantage of them. About 553 bright neon green shirts were around town promoting the bees. And yes, we purposely chose this obnoxious color because we wanted them to stand out. And boy, did they stand out against the snow. It was great. Another fun treat we did was to hand out the lime green cinch bags. Lynn's showing those as well. And those were handed out to just the teams that made it to state. They had a visitor guide in them and a Gatorade. So we thought, what a fun souvenir for the teams, the kids that are coming here, the student managers, to take back to their hometowns. And our hope is that we continue to see them around town, like at track meets and at summer camps and just everything, so they can take them with them. And Lynn's going to pass around some pictures too. Thank you, Lynn. So like Casey was talking about, we work with South Dakota High School Activities Association and Gene Brownell at Central to provide, we did 11 tablecloths in total. They had 3 different logos on them. And they said Aberdeen is the place to be, when, again, using the same messaging. 4 of them said Aberdeen, South Dakota, and then 3 of them have the South Dakota High School Activities Association logo, that round logo. So we are super excited to use them again because we have state cheer and dance this fall. We have state gymnastics in February of 2020, and of course, state bees next year. As far as we don't know a number for impressions from public broadcasting, we're hoping to get like a viewing number. So we're working on to see if we have that. But even with the weather, it was a good turnout. Gene Brownell, he estimated over 6,000 were in attendance on Saturday night's game alone. And Leighton in our office took some pictures, and it was amazing to see the Barnett Center that full. That was really nice to see. The Aberdeen American News stopped by our office a couple days prior to the event to see the volunteers putting together the bags and packing everything. And we have a wall in the office that just gets stacked up with our roasters and our plates and everything that we need. So they did a fun article showcasing some of the behind-the-scenes work that's done from the office. Now everyone's favorite part, the food. So over the course of the 3 days, we serve a total of 6 meals and snacks and coffee breaks in there too. We estimated about 900 people ate over the course of the 3 days in the hospitality room. So that room is for media, including radio, newspaper, South Dakota Public Broadcasting. All of the volunteers get to eat there. The coaches, they have access to the meals in between the games or whenever they have a quick minute to sneak away from their duties. And, you know, to quote the South Dakota Public Broadcasting, we have the best hospitality room in the state. They made sure to let us know that. It's probably because we were doubling like the amounts of food on their plate when they walked by. But we make sure no one walks away hungry. We work with several different vendors in town, restaurants, caterers, everything to provide different food options each day. A sample of the menu was pulled pork sandwiches, baked beans, broccoli cheese soup, nachos, veggies, potato chips, various desserts, things like that. And we also have several amazing volunteers that help us out as well. And they set up, they help us serve, they help us clean up and haul everything back. So it was a busy couple of days, but we made it.
I wanted to mention too that I don't know if anybody else got any complaints, but I went down all 3 days, made myself as visible as I could and talked to as many people as I could and gave everybody there a chance to complain about the snow or the parking or anything. And maybe as a credit to small town folks that are in for the tournament, but nobody has had a problem with anything. And, you know, we know at the State B, sometimes you have to walk 3 or 4 blocks if you're there late, and people just accept that. And so I don't know if any of you got any complaints. Robin, did you? No,
actually, I had more confidence.
Yeah, so good people and good works by Robin's people. So thanks.
Okay, well, as I said, Leighton is otherwise engaged this evening, so I will be giving the social media report. So for the first quarter of 2019, as Casey said, keep in mind it was really great weather the entire quarter, and you know, there aren't a lot of large events for us to promote on social media other than state bees. So Leighton made do with what he had to work with, and he did an excellent job as always. In quarter one, our page followers increased by 207, so we are right up there at about 14,000. Number of impressions on Facebook alone was 571,646. So over 500,000 impressions. And I don't have numbers as to the percentage of those posts that were boosted, but that had money behind them, but I would say it was very small. I know he had a lot of organic reach during that first quarter.
Very rarely boost.
Very rarely. We can get so much more traffic from organics, from people sharing and liking and commenting and things, and it's just been wonderful for us. Hunt Fish Facebook analytics the followers increased by 65, so that page is up to 6,895 followers. The Hunt Fish Facebook page impressions, 155,127. And, that's mostly content that is shared from other sources, especially this time of year where, obviously we don't have hunting or a lot of fishing going on. So Instagram followers increased by 33 for Hunt Fish alone. And a couple of fun facts about some of the top performing posts of Q1 on Facebook. And if we can flip this over to right there, actually pull that down. The top right there, the Aberdeen, Leighton got creative and he's hilarious. So he didn't have anything else to promote that day, so he decided he would make light of how cold it was that day. That post alone organically reached 50,229 people. Now, in comparison, he posted 15 separate posts during the duration of State Bees, photos, different commentary schedules, things like that. And those posts reached 51,404. So that funny little graphic right there, Aberdeen, that took him about 30 seconds to create, reached 50,000 people. So take that into consideration, what you can do with no budget behind it, basically. So I'm not going to say that too loud, though. Okay, so back to the more traditional forms of marketing that I am actually in charge of. For print marketing, in Q1, it was mostly local. We did ads in the Y tournament programs, in the Snow Queen Festival program, State Bee program, of course, Gold Pages, and then also some more regional, Iowa Sportsman, Midwest Meetings, South Dakota Magazine, things like that. But our digital campaign kicked off during this time. And we actually went with a new vendor for our digital marketing campaign. We are working with Kello Digital out of Sioux Falls. And we started that campaign in March. And so with only 1 month under that campaign's belt as of this reporting, the click-through rate is 2.6 times greater than the national average already. So people are excited when they see those ads popping up on their phones and on their tablets and laptops. And one different thing that we're trying this year, instead of just choosing a geographical area, in the last 2 campaigns that we've run, we've chosen, let's target Fargo and let's target Bismarck and let's target, between here and the cities and choose the demographic of people. We're actually geofencing locations and events. So we had those ads start during some of our travel shows. And so when people would walk into, say, the Northwest Sports Show in Minneapolis, when they get on their phone, our ad is going to pop up and they're going to see us. And then we're actually going to be able to keep targeting those people with ads for up to 90 days. And we're actually able to track when they put their shoes on the ground in Aberdeen. So that is super exciting. I can't wait until August when we can see the total number of impressions versus the people that we can see that they actually came to Aberdeen. And to quote South Dakota Tourism, it's a little bit creepy the way that they track people, that they can access that information just from a ping on your phone, but it's the way of the world. That's just the way it is. So we're also geofencing some of our competitors. Sky Zone in Sioux Falls, different zoos in Watertown, Fargo, different locations and attractions in Minnesota, Sioux Falls Catfish Bay water ski shows, along with toy stores, Chuck E. Cheese, and just different places like that we think that those people, when they see our ad, that'll really make an impression on them. Just got done doing a hosting with 605 Magazine out of Sioux Falls. That happened last week. They are actually going to feature Aberdeen in the May issue. We are going to get a 6 to 8 page spread. And for the little bit that we spent taking them around Aberdeen, I think that investment is going to be well worth it. They were impressed with Aberdeen. They loved everything about it. We got under the Capitol Theater. We were down in the orchestra pit, down in the guts. We were able to take them to Twist Cone. We went to a bunch of different art galleries. So we did some different things. We took advantage of the fact that, it wasn't the most opportune time to go to Storybook Land. And so we really pumped up those other attractions in Aberdeen, the art galleries, the eating places, things like that. During that time, we also received a grant from Glacial Lakes and Prairies Tourism to help us pay for our partnership with Midwest Travel Network, which I've talked about with you before. We received the Cackland Community Award at South Dakota Tourism Conference in January, which is always exciting. And we started and completed the RFP process to redesign our website. We are super excited. That's going to be a multi-month project. Of course, it's never fast when you decide to tackle something that big. But we've gotten off to a great start. We're working with Production Monkeys here in Aberdeen. Super excited about that partnership. And so just really busy cranking away at that. To wrap that up, total of nearly 3 million impressions just from the traditional marketing and the digital. 243 entries in our 2020 vacation giveaway, which is what we're really pushing with that digital campaign. And of those 243 entries, 149 of those people marked that they already are planning a trip to Aberdeen this summer. So that's super exciting too. Any questions? And this is just an example of some of the other posts that Layton had been running during quarter one on Facebook.
Len, you wanted to make a comment?
You said you were redoing your website. You will no longer be a portal off the city's website then?
We will be correct. Yes, we will be switching away. Nothing against the Civic Plus platform. It's just that we outgrew it.
Okay. I just wanted to ask to make certain we didn't pay the fee. So
yes, yep, we will be switching away from that.
Okay.
And a lot of it is just we're right at that turning point. Like I said, it was a useful website for us. It's very engaging for city government. Just on the advertising side of things, the marketing side of things, we quickly outgrew it, unfortunately. Yes. But yeah, as Laura did mention, we will be, we actually are already working feverishly to get the website information put together, and all of that information in play, transferring information over, creating new imagery is a big thing. Working with the chamber to reach out to entities to get us graphics and photos. So we're excited about that. The only other thing I have to talk about is, I guess, our upcoming promotion in the immediate near future is National Travel and Tourism Week. And we've spoke about that before in the past. Mayor Leifson, I'll leave you. I won't make you go through the proclamation. We appreciate you doing that. But National Travel and Tourism Week, what is that? That's the nationwide incentive for CVBs and chambers and communities to get together and promote what they do and why they do it. Everything is geared on that visitor. 1 in 9 people, as far as employment in South Dakota, is related to tourism. Property taxes, we alleviate the pressure there. If it weren't for tourism, you'd be paying quite a bit more in your property taxes as well. But we are putting together some promotions. We're partnering with State Tourism, trying to get them up here to do some radio interviews on air with Hub City and Dakota Broadcasting. And we also want to reach out to our industry partners and say thank you. Thank you for what you do to make our job easier. Thank you for what you do to make that visitor stay that much more important, so that they would come back and repeat again. We're gonna meet with the radio stations, Parks and Rec shop, the hotels, basically anybody who comes in direct contact that works steadily with us, just a way to say thank you and maybe take them a nice gift for all that they do. National Travel and Tourism Week, we have a big social media promotion that's kicking off. What does that entail? Monster Monday, Triple Play Tuesday, Wiley Water Wednesday, Thursday Thunder, and Friday Fair Frenzy. We're going to give away just tickets to all these events, tickets to the Aqua Addicts, tickets to the Monster Trucks, tickets to the Hot Shots baseball games. All of these have been donated or sponsored on behalf of these organizations. Again, these are the partners that the industry comes in contact with. These are the partners that the visitors travel to Aberdeen to participate in. So it's going to give us a chance to promote these events all week long. Everybody can sign up, register to win. We're going to give these prizes away and hopefully make somebody stay and a trip to Aberdeen that much more important. So we're really excited about Travel and Tourism Week. It's just kind of a chance for us to puff up our chest a little bit and say, hey, look what we do, why we do it, and the whole community of Aberdeen is involved in this promotion. So everybody can take pride in this. So any questions at all? thank you for allowing us to come to present.
Thank you. A lot of good news. Are you involved with the air show event that's being planned? Have you?
The Aviation Day?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We are in touch with Rich. He's getting us the information, the specifics on that. We are working to promote that. It's going to be a busy weekend. There's going to be clay target shooting, state championship there. There's going to be, what is it, Family Fun Weekend? There's Family Fun Weekend, Aviation Day, but we also put Rich in touch with Stacy Braun with the Arts Council to get their, he wants to make the Aviation Day a recurring event. So we're going to get that on their rack cards that we take to all the sports shows and travel shows, and the rack cards that we mail out for information. So
Okay.
we're expecting big things. It'll be a fun time.
I think the governor's coming for that. So
Is he or she?
yes. I think
Which
so.
one?
The current one.
Okay. Because I know they had reached out to Dugard about having him come out. Were you had mentioned that?
No, no, I
Okay.
wouldn't. So
About having him come in and maybe give a little open house or a welcome on the soybean plants. That's why I asked. I guess.
Okay.
But no, we will welcome her. We'd love to have her come out.
Okay.
So
all right.
thank you.
Yep. Okay, on to new business. First item, this is the appointed time for a hearing on the transfer of the Eagles license. No, we didn't. So let's do that first. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Second by Slade Hansen. All in favor of approving the consent calendar, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, under new business, item A, the Eagles at 316 South 2nd transfer from the Fraternal Order to City Lights Bar and Events Center.
Move to approve.
Question.
Let's get a second and then a question. Second by Slade Hansen. Question.
Was the fire department's inspection completed by today? If, make it just pending final approval by the fire department.
Okay, would you want to modify your motion to indicate that?
What do I do?
That the motion in the minutes then would read, the motion is to approve pending the final approval by the fire department.
Okay, we'll do that.
All right. Second by Slade Hansen. Any other questions? All in favor of approving with that provision, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. And then item B is this is for the licenses for the Chamber of Commerce Business After Hours, May 9th at Beatles and June 13th at Clark Engineering.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion Remley, second by Lunsman. Any questions? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Bob is here for bids on the 2019 new turbine pump and valve replacement for the water treatment plant. Bob?
Yes, this will be a pump to replace one from 1959. We replaced one last year that had rusted out, and this one is not too far away from being the same condition. So we're just trying to stay ahead of the game. The low bid was for $53,900 from PKG Contracting out of Fargo.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion Bunsen, second by Olson. Questions on this? All in favor of approving that bid, then say aye.
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 Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next, Robin, a 2020 cab and chassis bid.
Okay, you've got the bid tab in front of you. The low bid was from I-State Truck Center in the amount of $80,975. That would be straight out and would not be considered with trade. The refuse packer body was $59,968 and a trade allowance of $32,978 for a difference of $24,990. And we are requesting that those two bids be accepted and the 2012 Freightliner be considered trade-in declared surplus.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Bunsen, second by Lunsman. Questions on what Robin's doing here? All in favor of approving those, then say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. You have a list of bills presented for payment. There is one adjustment to the bills. The refund on utility accounts dollar figure will be $444. Otherwise, the rest are as they are. We need a motion to pay them.
Move.
Motion Olson, second by Slade Hansen. Questions for any? Carl?
Councilmember Remley,
Aye.
Lunsman,
Aye.
Slade Hansen,
Aye.
Bunceness,
Aye.
Olson,
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Item F is payroll April 14 to 27 and City Share of Social Security, Old Age, Survivors Insurance, Retirement, Health, and Life.
Moved.
Second.
Motion Lunsman, second by Remley. Carl?
Councilmember Olson,
Aye.
Bunceness,
Aye.
Slade Hansen, Lunsman,
Aye.
Remley,
Aye.
Mayor Leveson.
Aye, motion carries. Before the city manager report, Mr. Remley has something he wants the council to see.
Yeah, you've got the picture in front of you on the computer there. This is a constituent who all winter had problems with a neighbor parking his vehicle right up to the edge of the constituent's driveway there, and there was no way they could make the turn sharp enough to get into their driveway, so they had to park in the street. And he called the officials several times, and there's nothing that we can do because there is no ordinance that guards against this particular incident. So I proposed to Lynn that we create an ordinance to have a setback on parking up to the driveway, maybe 5 feet or something, whatever. We'll figure that out. But it was very, very inconvenient for the constituent this past winter, especially with all the snow, and he couldn't even use his driveway when his neighbor was parking so close. And they tried diplomatic sources by going and visiting with them and being nice about it, but it just didn't turn out that way. And so he called me and wanted us to, and he did his own research, and he went to other city ordinances from different towns and found some ways to change this. So if we could get Lynn and Ron to maybe figure out a way to get this on an ordinance would be it.
So he was just doing this to annoy him?
Yeah.
Yeah, it always amazes me how people will go out of their way to make their lives more difficult.
Yeah, and that's what was happening. So
I told Mark that I would second this tonight because, in just a weird coincidence, when he brought this tonight, I said, I had someone approach me on Thursday night who is a totally different person who lives in a totally different neighborhood but has a business right by them, and the business customers do the same thing to them. And they said, can we do anything about this? They have been to the business and asked the business if they would do anything, and of course the business said, no, tough luck. So I mean, here we are, two people within days of each other who have this same problem. So I definitely think it's something that we need to address.
Okay. Well, with that, we can go to the city manager's report, and Lynn, maybe you can start by saying what you think we can do here with this. You'll take a look at it, obviously, and
Obviously, and I appreciate the research that was done by the individual. He has an example ordinance from Minneapolis as well as Fargo, and it talks about encroachment into the radius of the turn and 5-foot setback. So we can utilize this and come back to the council if they have interest in doing it. I'm certain Ron and I can come up with something.
good.
Moving on with the city manager's report, I have two items. First item, the city engineer, public works director, Robin Bobzine, would like to do an announcement about changes within the city's street sweeping program.
Okay, it's that time of year where we're gonna get into street sweeping, and we have talked for many years about going to a daytime sweeping schedule versus the nighttime, and we've gotten to the point we continue to have turnover in that area because it's just not as conducive to the type of personnel. Our folks will work through snow removal, whatever, but the consistent schedule of the nighttime through the entire summer and fall has been difficult to keep those positions filled. We're having good people leave because of the schedule. So we are planning on trying something different this year. Many cities are doing daytime sweeping. We haven't for a long time. In my 25 years here, we have done the nighttime only. So we are looking at doing that change. We're hoping that will stabilize our turnover a little bit, first of all. Second of all, Chief McNeil will be the first one to tell you that they have other priorities within the department that probably do not include ticketing of people at night, in the middle of the night. So at times we weren't ticketing, and so this will allow them more flexibility in their schedule, not feel like they have to fulfill things for Public Works as well. Our thought process right now is we're going to try to do the arterials early morning, meaning like maybe 6 o'clock, and try to do those before the real commute traffic starts going to work, and then go into the residential in that 8 o'clock time frame and try to get those when people are off to work. I think it will actually work better in the residential areas, and we're going to have to play with the program a little bit for the downtown areas, the commercial areas, to try to make sure we come up with the right mix of how we do things and at what time. Normally we would have done an insert in the paper for this to tell people the schedule. For this year, I think we're going to do it only on our website, and probably not do the insert as we've done in the past, because it's going to be, I think we're going to be moving things around just a little bit as the year goes on. So it'll look the same. It's no different. It's just going to have a little different language to it, stating that we'll probably state 4 a.m. to 4 p.m. The other thought process is we'll probably do the downtown core on Friday mornings versus Monday mornings, and try to spiffy things up ahead of weekend activities rather than doing it afterwards. And maybe we'll have to do a special Monday cleanup after Gypsy Days or things like that. But no, we can work with some of those things, and this may give us a little more flexibility on how we can utilize our personnel with the existing street crew, and keep them on similar schedule with the most of the crew. So, any questions?
I do think, and maybe you did state it and I missed it, but for the general public that might be observing this meeting, if in fact your street was swept early Wednesday morning, there's no difference. It still be swept on Wednesday, but it'll be during the day, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so if you were Friday, it would be Friday.
Yep.
If you were Thursday, it would be Thursday.
The only exception will be that downtown area, which we were doing on Friday, and now we'd be looking at doing on Monday. But yes.
And there is no ticketing.
We will not be ticketing at this point. That's, I think that's probably what we're trying to do, is give a schedule so people can get off the street on those days, and try to make sure it's as convenient as possible. But we were going around a lot of vehicles and ticketing, and it didn't seem to have much impact. So
I'm sure there'll be some people take a while to get used to it, but they will.
Oh, and actually, I think for the residential, it actually will be more convenient.
Well, it won't wake me up at 3 in the morning.
True enough.
I would imagine that we'd have a lot of people who will be glad that doesn't happen. Light
That's
sleepers.
true. Yeah, that's a lot of the complaints we get are that nighttime beep, beep, beep
Yep.
sounds.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, the last time I'm going to read this to make certain I don't create any problems with it, but I was going to do an update on the stadium lighting at Fossum Field. And the collapsed light pole tower, which was located behind the catcher's mound and bleachers, could be seen when the inspection was done by the structural engineer, that the L3x3 angles embedded into the concrete pier foundations rusted, and that's why it failed. So based upon that failure, Doug then asked the structural engineer to do an inspection of the remaining 7 light pole towers, and the remaining 7 poles showed various different stages of decay. And so immediately after that, Doug made a decision, and with recommendation coming from the structural engineer, that we suspend all play at the field until those upgrades could be completed. On Saturday, Doug, after the structural engineer gave an update design as to what he felt was necessary to strengthen the remaining towers, signed a contract with Swan Welding, and Swan Welding started on those upgrades and supposed to be completed by May 3rd. So those fields will be open very shortly. But there was costs associated with these upgrades. The pole that fell down, that's being done by Musco Lighting, and we hope to have that done by May 23rd. So that's going to be real close to the opening of the games out there, and that was approximately $49,000. And then to go and upgrade the other poles, we're talking another $50,000. So essentially, when all this is over and done with, we'll spend over $100,000 doing additional upgrades. When you think last year we did $100,000 to upgrade the actual light fixtures, now we're doing another $100,000 to take care of the actual poles. But the pole that's being replaced will be a monopole. It won't be a lattice pole, and that's kind of the new trend. And so that should last for a long time. That's all I have.
Any guarantees on that?
Beyond your career.
Did I miss? Did you give a time frame? Did I miss the time frame on that one?
May 3rd for the
May
welding,
3rd. Okay. When they open the fields again.
before May 23rd.
Thank you.
Anything from anyone else before we adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Motion Remley, second by Bunsness. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.